सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। वस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Read the verse number 4, which is of course 5th in the chapter. Nirmanamohajitasangadoshaha adhyatmanitya vinivrittakamaha द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसंज्ञैः गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यः न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम। So the last line of the previous verse said, Amuraha gacchanti tad avyayam padam. Those who become undeluded reach that imperishable end, the ultimate end, the ultimate success or happiness in life. So understand that Vedanta is a teaching to help us gain happiness in life, to make our life successful in true sense. There is nothing very romantic about this. It is a very pragmatic or practical teaching that helps us accomplish what it is that we are seeking to accomplish. It does not talk about some different kind of a world where you have to go, some kind of fancy experiences that you have to gain. Vedanta's teaching is very simple. That the distance between you, that is I, and success, distance between I, who is the seeker, and happiness or success that I am seeking, that distance between the seeker and the sought is merely a distance of ignorance. That success is not away from you. Happiness is not away from you. Meaning that in our life, we don't have to become something else. We don't have to go someplace else. We don't have to do anything fancy or unusual. How living the life that we are living, how we can make our life a process of reaching that true happiness, which we are trying. But unfortunately, our efforts do not yield any sustained happiness or success, because if you use the word, we are deluded. If you don't like that word, mudha. I use that word in reference to the word that Lord Krishna used, amudhaha gacchanti. The undeluded reach the goal. So, we are unfortunately born with ignorance, which produces delusion, if you want to call it. What is delusion? Is wrong understanding of what I am seeking, wrong understanding of how to go about achieving my goal, wrong understanding of who I am. It is wrong understanding of everything. We are born with that. That's called moha or delusion. Our life has to become the process of undeluding. We are born with delusion, moha or ignorance, and life should become a process of shedding ignorance. That process is explained in 2 steps. One is live the life with the right values and attitudes, so that our life itself becomes essentially a process of shedding of ignorance, which is called the life of yoga. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga. Yoga is life of right values and attitudes, which Bhagavad Gita teaches. And second step is the pursuit of knowledge. When you are prepared, then understand, the right understanding. So most of the wrong understanding goes by living the life of values and attitude. Lot of misunderstanding goes away. And the final step is the right understanding with the help of the teaching of the scriptures. So living that life was described in the 4th verse. Nirvana mohaha jita sangha doshaha. Mana means pride, that is delusion. A deluded, ignorant person has pride. Moha, infatuation. An ignorant person is infatuation. Meaning that pride arises from wrong understanding, fetch arises from wrong understanding, intolerance arises from wrong understanding, reaction and retaliations arise from wrong understanding. And therefore, in this verse, Lord Krishna outlined certain values, which as we try to put them into practice, our understanding progressively gets corrected. The ignorance progressively is shed off. We progressively become undeluded. Our understanding becomes progressively clear. And then when that happens, this is called what Lord Krishna said, the weapon of detachment, weapon of vairagya, weapon of dispassion, or weapon of undeludedness. And then the final step is what the previous verse said, that may you seek that, to know the truth about yourself. Now you are ready to know the truth about yourself, to discover that you are what you are seeking. What is the truth about yourself? The fifth verse told us, it is nothing but consciousness. The consciousness is the same as existence. So Vedanta says, Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means existence. Chit means consciousness or intelligence. Ananda means happiness or limitlessness. That is the nature of reality, and that is you. Fortunately, the reality or the truth is not away from me, it happens to be my own nature. It is discovered as my own self. So that's what we discussed last night, how the self, what is my true nature? We've been saying since last 3 evenings that alone can be called truth, that does not change. That which changes is not truth because at every moment it is different. With something that is changing, you arrive at a given conclusion. Now, next moment is different, yet it is different. There cannot be any finality about what changes. So truth must necessarily be changeless. In me, in what I call I or myself, there are these two elements, one that is changing and one that does not change. Right now I am a speaker, then I may be a listener, then I may be a walker, talker, eater, drinker, happy, unhappy. See how I keep on changing. With all this changing I, there's something that remains unchanged. What is that? I am happy, I am unhappy, I am talking, I am walking. During all those changes associated with I, that I am remains changeless. So Vedanta says that the changing part you are not. The changeless is what you are. So what's my nature? I am. Doesn't sound very exciting. What's the big deal? I am. You said last night that we effortlessly know, I know that I am, because to know I am, no effort has to be made, because I am also self-revealing. I am means I exist. Existence is self-revealing. That Sat is also Chit. And that I am has no boundaries, no dimensions, no attributes, and therefore it is boundless, limitless. So what is truth about myself is I am constantly experiencing, understand? People talk about experience, but I am always experienced by me. Because in every experience, I am is always involved. I am watching, I am seeing, I am hearing, whatever I am experiencing. The I am is always involved, meaning that I am is always experienced. So Vedanta does not talk about experience as much as understanding the experience. The I am with the self is always experienced by me. The problem is that I have this wrong notion or conclusion about who I am, and that wrong part has to be removed, because the changeless I am and changing speaker, walker, talker are all lumped together, and so I conclude that I am a changing being. When the changing thing is let go, then what remains? The changeless I am. That is self-revealing. That illumines self, illumines everything, does not require anything to illumine that. That is self-existing. Everything exists because everything is because I am. We think that I am because body is. I am because you are. I am because my boss is. I am because my bank account is. I think I am because of so many things. No. Whatever is because I am. What shines? Because I shine. And something gives me happiness because I am happiness. This is the truth about ourselves that we discover as we undertake the process of undeluding ourselves by the right values and attitudes. So now Lord Krishna continues the discussion. That Swamiji, you say that I am, my true nature is consciousness, limitlessness. And how come I feel myself to be a limited being? This is a great paradox in our life. That what the Upanishad says or Vedanta says is that you are limitless. And what my mind constantly keeps on telling me is that I am limited. How is it that the limitless feels a sense of limitedness? We cannot deny our experience that I feel limited. Nor can we deny what the Upanishad says that you are limitless, We cannot deny that we are limitless by nature, because that's what Vedanta says, and that makes sense as we just discussed. At the same time, we cannot deny the fact that I feel limited, Swamiji. The limitless is always one, non-dual, but I feel that I am one of the countless beings. I know that I am a conscious being, all right, but I am a small, limited, insignificant conscious being, one among countless. That is my experience about myself. How do you explain that experience? So we should understand why do we feel the way we feel. Only when we understand, then we will know how to become free from that feeling. Even when Vedanta says that we have a wrong opinion about ourselves, wrong conclusion about ourselves, we should know why that wrong conclusion arose in the first place. Why? What's the reason why I feel that I am limited when I am not limited? Vedanta has to explain that. Then I realize where I am making the mistake. And so, how to become free from that mistake? So let us read the next verse on the page number 12. Mamaivamsho jivaloke जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षते. So look at the translation. Jivaloke, in the world of living beings where we are, Mamaiva Amshaha Sanatana, an eternal part of mine. So this Lord Krishna is describing ourselves. Who are we? We are conscious being. an eternal part of the limitless Lord, Jiva Bhutaha. He is called Jiva, or they sometimes call it soul, or the limited conscious being. Who is Jiva? This limited conscious being. Who am I? I am a limited. That I am a conscious being is okay, I know that. But that I am a limited conscious being. I had a birth, and someday I will also not be here, I will die. I am here and not elsewhere. I am such as such and not other things, meaning that I am limited in time and space and attributes in every way. I feel as though I am a part of the whole. I am a conscious being, all right, but I am a spark of consciousness. This is what I feel. That you are one little conscious being, and there are how many conscious beings are there, how many jivas are there, as many living beings are there, as many jivas are there, as many atmas are there, as many self are there, as many souls are there. This is what we feel. So Lord Krishna describes that experience. That as though my parts, talking about us, Lord Krishna says, as though I have divided myself into many parts, and each part is a limited jiva or a conscious being in this world of beings. So Lord Krishna calls us part of the whole, part of the consciousness. That Krishna, the truth, is limitless consciousness, and we are all parts of consciousness, sparks of consciousness. But are we really so? Is it possible that consciousness can really be divided into parts? If you take the example of space, if you create a number of walls in the space, create a number of rooms in the space. There is a bedroom, there is living room, dining room, etc. A number of rooms are there. A family room and I don't know, a home theater, and then a sun deck. People, so many rooms, so many kinds of rooms are there. How do they get that nomenclature? This is called family room, Swamiji, and this is this room and that. You know. So many rooms are there. That's nice. Each room represents a given space. And so the dining room is different from the bedroom, and that is different from the living room, and that is different from other rooms. But really, are those spaces different from each other? By building walls, have we really divided the space? We feel that the dining room space is different from the living room space, and that is different from bedroom space. But can the space really be divided by walls? It creates a notion in the mind that the spaces are all different from each other. But in reality, space cannot be divided. The Vedantis always like to use pots and pans and cloths. Pot is called ghata. In Sanskrit, the pot is called ghata. Imagine there is a pot in my hand. There is a space enclosed in the pots. That would be called pot space. Pot A is here, pot B is there, and the pot space, a third pot space. If there were a number of parts, then there are a number of pot spaces. Is it not so? Some pot is small, some is large, some is even larger. So one space is small space, one space is larger space, one space is even larger space. Is it not so? And the part moves and the part space also moves along with that, is it not so? So these parts somehow create in our mind a notion that the space is circumscribed by the part, space is limited by the part, as though in the space a division is created, part space A, part space B, part space C. As many parts are there, so many part spaces are there. Is it not so? Or is it so? Is it possible for the part to divide the space? Is the space within the part, or is the part within the space? From the standpoint of the wall of the part, it looks as though the space is within the part. But if we change the focus from the wall of the part to the space, then we can see that the part is within the space. Is it not so? Sometimes in the sky, in a cloudy sky at night, a full moon night, a child comes and says, "Mom, Mom, come out, see the moon is running." In the sky, moon is running. Have you seen that? Mom says, "My child, it's not the moon that is running, the clouds are running." It creates a notion that the moon is running. If you focus the attention on the cloud, it looks like moon is running. But if you focus the attention on moon, then you realize that the clouds are running. It's a matter of just focus, you understand? So it looks like there are as many consciousnesses, as many living beings are there. This is like a part. This one body, mind, sense complex is one part. Other body, mind, sense, another part, imagine. And consciousness like space looks like the consciousness is divided into so many parts or so many beings, so many upadhis, so many bodies. Where is consciousness? Within. So this is our conclusion. Like believing that the space is within the part, in fact there is no such entity a part space, because space can never be divided by part. However, that part manages to create in our mind a notion that the space is within the part. That part manages to create that notion in us. Even though it is a part that is within the space, in our mind, a notion is created that the space is within the part. Simply please tell me, is consciousness within the body or is body within the consciousness? Focusing attention on body, identifying with the body, I feel that the consciousness is within the body. But when the attention is focused on consciousness, I find that body, everything is in consciousness. Meaning that just as space, which is really undivided, appears to be divided, and a notion is created in our mind that the space is divided in many parts. So because of the many bodies, many of these what we call upadhis, body, mind, sense complex, in Sanskrit it's called upadhis, so many of the upadhis personalities, looks like this consciousness is divided into many personalities. There are as many consciousnesses, as many persons are there. This is our feeling. That feeling is described by Lord Krishna by saying that as though my part is functioning as an individual being, individual soul. There is no part. Limitless cannot be divided, consciousness cannot be divided, and therefore, even when we feel that we are a limited conscious being, what we are is limitless consciousness. But the limitless consciousness of the self that I am somehow feels that I am a limited being. Because of the reference to my body-mind complex, I have concluded that I am as big as the body, I am as limited as the body. Therefore, all the limitations of the body are superimposed upon the self and I feel limited. Just as the limitation of the part is superimposed upon the space and you feel that space is limited, space is divided. That poor part space suffers from many complexes. There is a small part and a big part. So when it presents a big part, just feels so inferior and so, yes, they're so bad. Little part comes, then I'm something, then pride comes. And so all these complexes are because of comparing one part space with the other. And there's so many complexes we have. I'm superior, I'm inferior, I'm beautiful, I'm not beautiful, I'm this, millions of complexes. Each of these complexes is a source of unhappiness. On account of taking this body to be myself and taking myself to be limited in the body, our Swami says every part of the body creates a complex. Beginning from head. Whether I am bald, they ask you, this, what is your color of the hair, and are you bald or this, that, and whatever, So even if I have hair, what is the thickness of the hair, what is the density of the hair, what is the color of hair, from then my eyelashes, eyes, nose, lips, face, my stomach, height, weight, everything creates variety of complexes. And then my education, my intelligence, and my achievement, and my wealth, and my power, and my fame, everything becomes a source of complex. That is called samsara. And regardless of what I do, I cannot become free from complex. And every complex means being miserable. This I must have told you in the past. When Puja Swamiji first time came to United States in 1976, those days we were in Bombay studying with our Swamiji. So Swamiji left us for 2.5 months and came here. Not happy. Anyway, when Swamiji came back, then one of the things we asked Swamiji, Swamiji, what difference did you find in India and United States? The Swamiji says, in India, people are uncomfortably miserable. In United States, they are comfortably miserable. Which was a profound observation, really. The human being is miserable wherever he is. Wherever the human mind is, I create misery for myself. I don't need anybody else. Other people can help me, that's a different thing. They can pour salt on the wound. That's what they will do. But that pouring salt will burn provided wound is in the first place, and that is my contribution. So what happens is, from poor I become wealthy, I was poorly miserable, wealthy miserable, unknown miserable, well-known miserable, etc., etc. The miserable doesn't go. Because sense of limitation never goes away. Even if I am a billionaire, I am still limited. And multiple, I am the richest man in the world, So, 20 years ago when Bill Gates was the richest person, this keeps on changing. So they were calculating, when will he get $100 billion? And today you can calculate, when will he get $1 trillion or whatever it is. So many, if he continues to make money at this rate, then he'll get $100 billion in such and such. Good, we wish him well and we all become billionaires, no problem at all. Vedanta is no problem. But the thing, you become enlightened billionaire, not a miserable billionaire. Nothing else can solve my problem. As long as I continue to maintain the complex that I'm a fraction, I'm a part, I'm small, I'm insignificant, the sense of insignificance can never go, regardless of what I do with my body, mind, intellect, this, that, whether I become famous and powerful and wealthy, that the complex smallness will not go. Somebody should help that boy to go and sit at the back. So in reference to that, Lord Krishna says, Mamaiva amshaha, like a fraction, Lord Krishna says, I am in fact functioning as all these living beings as though I am a fraction. So who is talking? Who is the talker and walker and who is the listener? Nothing other than limitless. The one who is talking also is limitless Krishna, and who is listening also is limitless Krishna alone. But suffering from, who suffers from limit? Same Krishna suffers. Oh, limitless Krishna or Brahman suffers from a sense of limitedness. It sounds ridiculous, but that's exactly what it is. Only saving grace is that the limitation is not a reality, it is a notion. It's a delusion. That's the undelusion process, undelusion. As long as we continue to feel limited so long, we take ourselves with doers, experiences, perform action, and the result of the action, law of karma, then I am accountable for what I do, and then I have to experience the result. And if I do not exhaust all my karma, I have to take the next birth. That's how the process of birth and death goes on. And unfortunately, next birth also, I am not more enlightened. If I die as a miserable person, I am born also as a miserable person. So in the verse that we just read, Lord Krishna says, see, that's how Vedanta explains how one sun, for example, reflected in 100 buckets appears to be divided into 100. One space, because of 100 parts, appears to be divided into 100. So also one consciousness in all these living beings appears to be divided. Undivided and indivisible consciousness appears to be divided. So that I am a small or a part or insignificant is a complex or is a notion about myself, not a reality about myself. And there were only one thing Vedanta, that is Tattvamasi, that you are limitless. Swami, now we have been hearing this so many times, there's nothing new about it. So listening makes me limitless. As we said yesterday, we have to help, meaning that our mind should become also favorably disposed to receive and assimilate the teaching. And that is why those values were described, nirmana moha jita sangha doshaha, that we discussed last night. That is why as a first step Lord Krishna prescribes a life of yoga or right values and attitudes, where this process of undelusion goes on, where this complexes becomes slowly and slowly become looser and shithili karanam. That bondage or sense of limitation becomes loose. I feel more and more free. And then I discover the total freedom as my nature. Until then, the process of this birth and death continues. So look at the next verse. Utkramantam sthitam vapi Bhunjanam va gunanvitam Vimudhananupashyanti Pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. Lord Krishna says, this one who in reality is limitless, ever free, but who looks upon himself as a limited being. Right now, what is my notion about myself? I am a speaker. What is your notion about yourself? I am a hearer. That later I will become a walker, or a talker, or an eater, or a sleeper, or a waker, or a cook, or a driver. Depending on what different kind of roles I perform, my designation keeps on changing. But who is the one in through all these different roles? Is speaker my nature? So right now I am speaker, a little later you will speak and I listen, I become a listener. A little later when I go for dinner, I become an eater. A little later when I go to sleep, I become a sleeper. So as constantly I keep on changing my roles, is it not so? So who am I? Am I speaker? Is it my own nature? Or listener, is it my nature? Or walker, is it my nature? Or eater, is it my nature? You know what is nature? Nature is that which does not change. So who am I? This is similar to an actor. Assuming a variety of roles, that now in one play he acts as a king, in another play he acts as a beggar, third he acts as a minister, fourth as a villain, fifth as a sannyasi, as a guide. All kinds of roles actor takes. Who is he? Is he king? Or a beggar? Or a minister? Or a villain? Or hero? Who is he? He is in all of them, at the same time he transcends all of them. Understand what is meant by transcending. He pervades all the roles. That king also he is, beggar also he is, minister also he is, at the same he is not also, isn't it? From his own standpoint, he doesn't become king. He plays the role of king, but does not become the king. Plays the role of a beggar, does not become the beggar. Is it not so? So king cannot be without the actor. Beggar cannot be without the actor. But the actor can very well be without the king or the beggar. Is it not so? When he goes to a green room, he is neither king, nor a beggar, nor a minister, he is himself. But does it mean that when he is acting as a beggar, he ceases to be himself? No, he remains himself even when he is acting as a beggar. Because in his own mind he knows that I am so and so. That awareness that I am a wealthy person doesn't go. Even when he is acting as a beggar, acting as a helpless, hapless fellow, even he may be crying and weeping and shedding tears from his eyes, he does all of this as a beggar. Our Swami used to say that when this beggar is, shedding tears from his eyes and crying, the audience think that he is so miserable crying. In his own mind, he congratulates himself, how effectively I am crying. When he performs a role, does he become a beggar? If he becomes a beggar, nobody will perform that role. Is it not so? In fact, by becoming beggar, he only becomes richer. Is it not so? So, by performing roles, you do not change. Yes, it can happen that if he forgets who he is and then he thinks that he is real beggar, then he may suffer from that. But in reality, by playing the role of beggar, he doesn't become beggar. He remains his true self. So when we find the same entity appears in different roles, it means that the person performing role must be different from the roles. Is it not so? When the same person appears now as a king, then appears as a beggar, then appears as a minister, etc., then it is very obvious that that person is different from this beggar and king and minister. Not only different, but his independent of them. That beggarliness does not in any way affect him. He doesn't become kingness and beggarliness, nothing affects him. He remains his free, true, ever free self. So similarly here, now I am a speaker, then I am a listener, then I am a eater, then I am a walker. Then someday I should ask, who am I? We never ask this question. When I am talking, I just assume I am a talker. I am listening, I must take for granted that I am a listener. But any person will ask that if I was speaker, how did I become listener? If I am listener, how do I become something else? How is it possible that I keep on playing different roles? That's possible only when I am different from the roles. Otherwise, same person cannot play different roles. A real beggar is a beggar, not a king. A real king doesn't become a beggar. A real beggar doesn't become king. It is who is not king becomes king. Who is not beggar becomes a beggar or appears as a beggar. Is it not so? The fact that we constantly change shows that we are constantly playing different roles. Unfortunately, we take the role to be ourselves without ever thinking that the one who keeps on taking different roles has to be different from the roles. That's what Lord Krishna said here. The self that is Utkramantam, departing from his body, Sitam, remaining in the body, Bhunjanam, gaining variety of experiences, sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy, sometimes sad, sometimes elated, sometimes successful, sometimes a failure, sometimes wealthy, sometimes poor. This fellow, who? This fellow. The deluded do not see, those who never give a thought, never see that the one who is playing this different role, the actor is different from that. The nature of self is different. That is not a speaker, thinker, hearer. He is different from all of them. Speaker is limited, hearer is limited, thinker is limited, but the one who plays those roles is all free from the limitations. He is limitless. So here Lord Krishna says that those who pay attention, Pashyanti jnana chakshusha, those who pay attention, those who focus upon one's own self and ask this question, what is the reality about myself? The changing part, namely the speaker, thinker, hearer, cannot be the reality about myself. What is it in all of this that does not change? I am, I am, I am, I am. That doesn't change. And the nice thing is, even when I am speaker, the I am always is there, understand? In the beggar also the actor is there and the king also actor is there. Similarly, when I am speaker, the I am is there. Hearer, I am is there. Thinker, I am is there. Happy, I am is there. Unhappy, I am is there. Regardless of what role is played, that I am always is there. It is not that I am disappears when I become a speaker or a thinker. Not that actor disappears when a beggar or king comes. So those who want to see can see that in all these changing things, the changeless I am. Lord Krishna gives a nice example in the Gita. Like a thread in which the various pearls are strung. Imagine a nice little garland of flowers or of pearls. Different pearls or different jewels are strung in a thread. The thread is a constant element, those pearls or the jewels are different. Similarly, speaker is one jewel, here is another jewel, thinker is third jewel. I am is a very thread that in fact sustains all of them. That is the truth of all of them. So what is the truth of myself? I am. Vimudha nanupashyanti. Those people are deluded, meaning those who are not undertaking undelusion. So that undiluted process must be taken up. The undiluted, amudaha pashyanti, the undiluted see. That is why the process of de-deluding ourselves, undeluding ourselves by becoming what? Free from pride, free from infatuation, free from intolerance, free from this, becoming kind, becoming compassionate, becoming a contributor. All these values and attributes are told to us. When we do that, we become undeluded. The undeluded see that I am is my nature. The deluded take the thinker and speaker as a nature. The undeluded see that no, this is incidental. That I am a speaker is an incidental thing. That I am a thinker is an incidental thing. I am happy is an incidental thing. Essentially, I am is my nature. So thus in these verses, Lord Krishna described how to go about really looking at myself, thinking about myself, contemplating. If you meditate upon the self, what's the process of meditation? Who am I? What is it about me that does not change? What is it about me that changes? What is it about me that does not change? I'll say that I am. That does not change. And that is what I am. Then what is called vairagya, dispassion, is let go of the thinker, speaker. They will let go and stick to I am. So that's how Lord Krishna revealed the nature of the individual. In the next few verses, Lord Krishna talks of Ishvara. Ishvara means God. Who is Ishvara? The creator, sustainer, dissolver, ordainer. In the next few verses, Lord Krishna describes how I am involved in every moment, in whatever you do. Lord Krishna says that in our life, Ishvara is involved every moment. No vyavahara, no transaction, no interaction, no action can take place unless Lord is involved in that. So in one verse, Lord Krishna says, Yada aditya gatam teja jagat bhasayate khilam. Here Arjuna, the sun, the moon, the fire, these are called luminaries. Sun is a luminary, moon is a luminary, fire is a luminary, lightning are luminaries, stars are luminaries, they are called luminaries, which illumine this world, illumine the objects for us. During the day, the sun illumines the world. At night, the moon illumines the world. When moon also sets, then it is the lightning that illumines the world, or the fire, the torch illumines. When that is not there, the lightning illumines. That is not there, stars illumine. That is not there, even lamp illumines. All different sources of illuminations are there. Then only we can see. Our eyes can see only when the objects are illumined by the light. Who provides that light? Lord Krishna says, understand the light of the sun and the moon and the fire and the lightning and the stars and the lamp is nothing but my light. I shine as the sun, I shine as the moon, I shine as the stars, I shine as the torch, I shine as all these luminaries. In fact, that you can see that there is light in the universe is because I am that light. So people ask us, where is God? Show me where your God is. I don't believe in God. Well, that because of which the eyes see that light is nothing but that the Lord manifesting as the light. So He, as sun, He illumines the world, as sun and moon, the fire, He illumines the whole world, and then alone our life is possible. Then alone we can see, and then alone we can do what we are doing. Then further, let us read the next verse, our verse number 18 on the page 13. A few things, he does everything, but a few things are pointed out here. What he is doing. What Ishvara or God is doing for us constantly, without our even making note of that, without even our asking for it. Understand? He is doing what he is doing without our asking for it. That is called real grace. That when a child is born and child is being raised, then the mother or the father, they do things without child asking for it. All provided. Everything is provided to the child. So, sometimes there are these hotels, 3-star hotel, 5-star hotels, 7-star hotels, or 5-star guest houses. You know what Swami used to say? Where are we? In a multi-star guest house. Multi-star guest house. That's where we are. Not a hotel, but a guest house. In hotel you have to pay. In guest house you don't have to pay. Everything is taken care of. That's called a guest house. We are in a guest house. Not a moment can go without the help coming from Ishvara. He is involved in every moment and every interaction in our life. And here a few samples are given. First is given as light of sun and the moon, the fire, etc. As sun, as moon, as fire, as all luminaries, I illumine the universe. Know that to be my light. Then this verse here, Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayamyaham ojasa Pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. So Lord Krishna says, Gama Vishya, and having entered the earth, Bhutani dharayami aham ojasa, I sustain all the beings by my strength. Now we are all sitting in the chair. And we can sit in the chair provided there is a floor which supports the chair. So what supports us? The floor, which is supported by earth. So all the living beings are supported by earth, you can say. Then only we can walk, we can, even build houses, build skyscrapers. Only when the earth supports all of them that you can build them. Is it not so? And fortunately by law of gravity, etc., is all sustained. That a house doesn't just topple. It is sustained, is held in its position. Who does that? Who makes sure that the houses, the skyscrapers, the mountains, all these things in the nature are all held in their position, that they do not fly away, they do not topple away, and they remain where they are? Lord Krishna says, I enter the earth and by my strength I sustain, I support all these things. Meaning that I am the support of the whole universe. Now you may think, Swami, this is all old-fashioned stuff. This is all, this is science now tells us why this happens. You don't have to. Where is God in this? Upanishad says, it is by the law of this mighty, imperishable Lord that the sun is sustained in its position, the moon is sustained in the position, earth is sustained in its position, the heaven is sustained in that position. Then the water flows from higher level to the lower level. The time always flows also in a systematic manner. All of this is happening is because of the order that is there in the universe. That's the Ishvara, the law of the order of the Ishvara. Swami, you don't require any Ishvara here to understand that the sun is in the... It is all law of gravity. What Ishvara you are talking about? There are centrifugal forces, centripetal forces, there is a balance of them, and that's how these bodies rotate one around, where is God in that? So we think that just because we can explain phenomena, there is no God, That's what people think. There was a great mathematician, Frenchman, his name was Laplace, and he wrote some 3 or 4 volumes explaining by mathematical equations all phenomena of the in the universe, and took that whole work before Napoleon and showed him that this is what I have done. So Napoleon asked a simple question, Monsieur, I don't see any mention of God in here, so I don't need God to explain. So a person we think that just because we can explain a phenomenon, but the laws that we have discovered, that there is no need to accept a God. The point is, where do the laws come from? Who is the form that laws? If it is the gravity of the centrifugal or centripetal, these forces are sustaining all these bodies. What are those forces? Don't ask me, Swamiji, the scientists will explain it. But okay, so ultimately you have to, when you ultimately ask why, a point will come that you will have to say, I do not know. Our Swami says our knowledge extends to one more question. So you take, in this table there is nothing here anyway, but there is even a flower. What is this flower? I don't know what it is anyway. You perhaps know what the name of the flower is, but then this is, yes. What is the color of the flower? I know. How many little flowers are there in this bunch? Swami, 17. Wonderful. So you are a very knowledgeable person. Why are there 17? I don't know. Why is the color pink and not yellow? I don't know. Does it smell or it doesn't smell? Why? Why some flower smells? I don't know. Now, Swami, I don't know, but the botanists know everything. Even the botanists also ask one more question, and one more question, and then he will have to say, I do not know. Ultimately, a point comes when anybody has to say that I do not know. Meaning that we have this notion that just because, even if you can explain everything, I have no objection. Suppose you explain everything, you know why, everything you know. Why there is this color? Suppose we know everything. Suppose you know all the laws of the universe and you know how the universe works. Suppose you knew that. So what? The fact remains that what you are discovering are the laws which can explain the function of the universe. But who is in the form of those laws? Why the universe has a certain configuration? Why did it evolve in a certain way? Why is it what it is? You have to accept that Lord Krishna says, he says in very simple terms, in rustic terms, that I enter the earth and by my strength I sustain all the beings. That because of me the sun is where it is, moon is where it is. So that was all right for those people, those days. For them it was, today is what is the big deal about that? Then some other thing. Today if Lord Krishna talk to us, he'll talk about something else. That I am this boson particle, I am this part. Something like that he has to say. The fact that we can in fact investigate, that we can arrive at an understanding, that we can find the laws is possible provided there are laws. Otherwise, how can you understand anything? How can you predict something unless the predictability is there, unless the laws are there? Who is informed those laws? And everything that we do every moment is sustained by one or the other law that I am speaking and the sound reaches you. Some phenomena is involved in that. Lord says, that is because of me that you are able to speak. that you're able to hear, that you can see, that you can walk, that you can talk. That whatever happens, understand that I'm involved there as the very consciousness, as the very Sat, as very Chit, as very Ananda, and as the very laws which are around which the whole universe is functioning. And some of those laws he described so that we can meditate upon him. These verses are told for us to meditate upon Ishvara. See, those days we did not have this Murti Puja, meaning that God was not worshipped in the form of these Vigrahas or Murtis. The whole universe is manifestation of Ishvara. Because we can see that whatever is manifested, infinite wisdom manifests as every little thing. In every small creation you can see the manifestation of infinite wisdom. In the past I have demonstrated this to you, that even these lines in my thumb, the thumbprint, shows there is infinite wisdom. Whoever has created this thumbprint must have infinite wisdom. Because this thumbprint is that by which the intelligence agencies can spot this person, can locate me. Because they are very confident that if I have left some thumbprint there, he someplace, and then catch me, because they know that nobody else has that thumbprint, isn't it? So when this thumbprint was created, there was a knowledge that nowhere else such a thumbprint exists. That in the past, such a thumbprint never existed, and in future it will never exist, because otherwise a thumbprint cannot become an unquestionable mark of identity. If in future such a thumbprint comes, then there is no certainty as to who this person is, whether that person or this person. Even one thumbprint shows the knowledge of past, present and future. Is it not so? You look at anything. Everywhere there is manifestation of infinite wisdom. Not just wisdom, infinite wisdom. So that is called Ishvara, who is infinite with Sarvajna. He is called Satyam Jnanam, his truth and knowledge. That knowledge or consciousness alone manifests infinite wisdom. As wisdom and infinite wisdom. So every atom, every molecule, wherever you see, every plant, every bug, everything that moves, every movement shows nothing but infinite wisdom. Every star, every galaxy, every subatomic particle, any small thing, big thing, moving, non-moving, everything. If you see, if you have the eyes, we can see the manifestation of infinite wisdom. That is Ishvara. And without that, nothing can be done. Whatever I am talking represents also the result of infinite wisdom, this organ of speech that is created, and the way the sound comes out and its communication takes place. Every moment, infinite wisdom is involved for making possible any single phenomenon. We think that this is an ordinary thing. What's the big deal that I am talking and I am hearing? It's ordinary things. To us, what is ordinary, when a scientist looks at it, then he finds wonders and wonders. To us, a table and chair, ordinary. He looks at the atom and molecule and subatomic. He finds all wonders. He finds wonders. What a wisdom is there. What a marvel it is. Those who look, they find marvels. Scientists find marvels. Poets find marvels. The writers find marvels. Artists find marvels. Philosophers find marvels. It requires the mind to be able to appreciate the marvel that is there everywhere. Unless we are too idiotic and too proud or arrogant to say, I don't believe in something, that just shows that you just are a non-thinker, that's all. You don't have to believe in something that is out there, it's right here. Infinite wisdom is everywhere. And thank God, what Vedanta says, hey, you are that infinite wisdom. In fact, you are watching your own glory everywhere. That's what Lord Krishna said in the 10th verse. And so Vedanta teaches us what is infinite wisdom, what is Ishvara. So it says, who sustains the universe? I sustain the universe by my strength or by my laws. And as moon, this is the Ayurvedic principle that when the vegetation grows, you require both the sun as well as the moon. Sun is responsible for the growth of the plant and moon is responsible for the nourishment and the taste in the plant. Without moon, there is no joy in there, no happiness. Without sun, there is no energy. So, what you eat gives you energy as well as taste and deliciousness and pleasure. That pleasure is given by the moon because that is the mother principle, and the energy is given by the sun. That's the father principle. And so it is nothing but the play of these two. That is the whole universe constantly functioning. So, second line of the verse say that Pushnami chausadhi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. That I am this moon, embodiment of rasa or the juice. And then I infuse myself as the very taste and the very nourishment in the plants. Meaning that the food that we have in front of us in our plate is nothing but Ishvara in that form. And then, what is the next verse that we have? Yes, let us read the next verse. Aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninan dehamashritah प्राणापान समायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. These simple things are pointed out, for simple people. For very intelligent people, intelligent things are pointed out. For us, simple day-to-day, life that we are living, how Ishvara is involved in our day-to-day life, that's what Lord Krishna points out, that in every vyavahara, in every transaction, in every interaction I am involved, nothing can take place without me. So simple phenomena or experiences are pointed out where his role is pointed out. Aham Vaishvanaro bhuta praninam dehamasita. Lord Krishna says that I reside in the stomach of all the living beings as the digestive fire. Prana pana samayukta pachamyannam chaturvidam. In all different kinds of food that the living beings eat, in all living beings, not only in human beings, in all living beings, Lord Krishna says, I reside as the stomach fire and I digest all the food. 4 kinds of food. Food is divided in different ways, but here it is divided by the method in which we eat the food. So sometimes we masticate the food, sometimes we swallow things, sometimes we suck things, sometimes we lick things, Bhojyam, bhaksham, chosyam, lekhyam. So in 4 ways we eat, by the way. Sometimes we masticate. Like mango, you squeeze. Or sometimes you gulp. And sometimes you lick. Lord Krishna says, as digestive fire, with the help of prana and apana, the incoming and outgoing breath which provides oxygen and which sustains that fire, I digest all the food. Without our asking, he is doing all this. Look at this, our body. As our Dr. Krishnamurti was showing me, pointing out yesterday, our body, Swamiji, represents intelligence. It is constantly functioning without even asking for it. It's all involuntarily. That blood is circulating. All things are happening inside. And what all things are happening? What a pharmaceutical factory there. What all kinds of things are there. We don't even know that. Our Swami just look at this woman. She gives birth to bring it, to the earth, this child doesn't even know what is inside that thing, We don't know. But there is something that is doing all of this, that the blood circulation is very intelligently, the body is functioning. Again, infinite wisdom. Then there is circulation system, there is digestive system, there is respiratory system. So many kinds of systems are there. All of them are functioning. Thank God that we don't have to bother. If I had to bother about making sure that I take my breath properly, that I am going to die in a short time, that I am responsible for circulation of my blood, if I had to do that, I won't survive. Somebody else takes care of all of that. Is it not so? Then I go to sleep and I wake up. Our Swamiji says, the heart says, lub and stop, dub and rest, lub and rest, dub. If after rest it doesn't come, if lub and rest and dub does not happen, that's the end of it. But it continues for 50 years, 60, 75, 80, 85 years, that thing keeps on working. There's no pump in the world that can constantly function for so many years. Thank God the breath goes out and comes in. There's no guarantee. Nishvase nahi vishvasa. There's no guarantee the breath which goes out will come, but it comes. No guarantee that I'll wake up once I go to sleep, but I wake up. What is the big deal, Swami? These are all big deal. Everything is a big deal. Because when it doesn't happen, then it becomes big deal. He did not wake up, that's a big deal, then it becomes a big deal. When I open my mouth and I can't close it, there's a lockjaw, then it is a big deal that I was able to talk all these years. All of this, Lord Krishna says, I am involved as very intelligence in everything. The infinite wisdom or intelligence is manifesting everywhere. And then what about within ourselves? Says the next verse. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishtaha matta smrutir jnanam apohanancha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyah Vedanta krut veda videva chaham. So earlier verse says, Lord Krishna said, I am the food, because I am the moon, I am the nourishment and taste in the food, I am the sun, the energy in the food. So food in front of us is manifestation of Ishvara. The one who digests the food also Ishvara is a stomach fire. Now who is eating the food? Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishta. Lord Krishna says, I abide in the hearts of all living beings as their very self. And I do. Who is walking? Who is talking? That Ishvara is talking, the Ishvara is listening, the Ishvara is walking, because I abide as the self of all the beings. I abide in their heart as their very self. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishta. I am seated in the hearts of all beings as their self. And sitting there, what does he do? He is active. Whether we are sleeping or not, we may be lazy. He is not. Even for a moment, if he stops acting, that's the end of it, Yadi hyaham na varteyam jadu karmani atandritaha. In the 3rd chapter, Lord Krishna says that if I do not ceaselessly function, then the universe will come to an end. So we may retire, and we may take rest and sleep and this and that, but he cannot, and he does not. He is seated in the heart of the self. Matta smritihi jnanam. Lord Krishna says, the memory is because of me, the knowledge is because of me, the forgetting is also because of me. Remember yesterday we talked about pride? But I am the self-made man, I am intelligent man, I am this, I did the research, I produced, I evolved. But Lord Krishna says, I am the memory, I am the knowledge. So, Matta Smriti, the memory is because of me, Jnanam, the knowledge, is because of me, because of the Lord, the consciousness sitting within my heart. So what is outside also is manifestation of Ishvara. The self also is manifestation of same Ishvara. And Lord Krishna says, even that you forget is also because of me. So forgetting also is a grace of Ishvara. Thank God that we forget. Sometimes we wish that we could forget, then we are not able to. But whatever we forget also is a blessing. Very often people ask this question, Swamiji, where is the proof that I existed in the previous life? You say that I was there in the previous life. Where is the proof? If I existed in the previous embodiment, how come I don't remember anything? But do you remember anything that you were at the age of 1 year old? Do you remember? Or at the 2 or 3 or something, do you remember? In fact, I don't even remember what lunch I had this afternoon, by the way. Why is the question of remembering? What remembrance we have? When people who are supposed to have great memory, that also so what? Any memory is limited. And thank God that we don't remember what we were in the last birth. Who do you know? How do I know what I was? Who knows? I may be a donkey in the last birth. I don't know. I thank God I don't remember it. Is it not so? When somebody asked, Bada Swamiji, can you read the thoughts in my mind? He said, I have enough problem with my thoughts. Why should I read your thoughts? It is good that we do not remember, because what we remember is enough to create misery in us, understand that. And if you remember what all happened in last birth and previous birth, and we'll just get crazy. That we do not remember is a great gift, really. No value for this. So Lord Krishna says, this is all because of me who is sitting in your heart as your own self. Vedai sarvai ahame vaidya. I am the only one to be known through all the scriptures. I am the creator of the scripture, the knower of the scriptures. So in these verses, Lord Krishna revealed His glories, how He is manifest. For us to appreciate His presence in our life, as to how He is present in our life every moment. Our Swami used to talk about bringing Ishvara into our life. Bringing Ishvara into our life, as though He is not in our life. He is, but then bringing what? Recognizing that He is in our life. Not bringing, recognizing that He is constantly in our life. If nothing else, as our own self. Ishvara is basically our own self also. So thus, the nature of Jiva is described, nature of Ishvara is described. Vedanta teaches Tattvamasi, that thou art. The pronoun that stands for Ishvara, pronoun thou stands for you or I. Art says that this individual is nothing but Ishvara. That is called the great equation. And in the next verse, Lord Krishna talks about that equation. Let's read that verse. Yasmat ksharamati aksharaadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vede cha prathitah purushottamaha. Who am I? Another way of looking at who am I? Am I this body? If you ask me, who are you? I am Swami so and so. Who are you? I am a man, I am a woman, I am father, I am mother. But this Swami, man, woman, father, mother, this, that, all of these really are names of what? They are all names of the body, are they not? Am I always a Swami? Always a father? Always a mother? If that was of nature, I always should be. But when am I sleeping? Am I Swami there? Right now, we Swamiji, one picture please, then immediately I pose with a smile on my face. When I'm fast asleep, at that time you take a pose of mine. Then my pose is like that. At that time, not a Swami, there's no self-consciousness at all. If Swami, that meaning that was my nature, that would be sustained there also. So in very short, who am I? I take the body to be myself, but is the body myself? Am I the body? If so, then I must be consistently this body, but I am not, because when I am even dreaming, I am not this body. In the dream, I create a new body for myself, and this body is lying on because in the dream I go to Rishikesh, or I go to Canada, I go to Australia, I go to all sorts of places, do I not? In the dream, whereas our body is lying in that bed, and I am in Rishikesh, how does it happen? Because that's a different body. So this body I am not. This is called kshara or perishable. This body is perishable. I am not perishable. This mind is perishable. Sense organs are perishable. I am imperishable. I am neither the effect nor the cause. I am someone that transcends both the effect and the cause. Lord Krishna says this perishable universe is my manifestation, no doubt, including his body, mind, sense complex. Perishable also is my manifestation. And the cause of all of this is called the primordial matter, the energy is called imperishable. This is also my expression. But I am beyond both of them. So even looking at it from a scientific point of view, the scientists can tell you that all this matter is nothing but the waves of energy. That energy in Vedanta is called Prakriti. You can call it primordial matter or primordial energy, Prakriti. But Vedanta doesn't have Prakriti is the nature of reality. Prakriti is just is what manifests as the universe. The reality is something that even is greater than the consciousness is the reality. So consciousness manifests as Prakriti or primordial energy, which in turn manifests as this universe of names and forms. So these changing names and forms are called perishable, kshara. The Prakriti, the matter, the primordial energy is called akshara or imperishable. Lord says that I am beyond both of them, neither perishable nor imperishable. I am the substratum of both of them. That is, who am you and I? Who am I? Yasmat kshara matitoham akshara vichottama. Because I am beyond the destructible and above indestructible both. Atosmi loke vedecha prathitah purushottama. Therefore Lord Krishna says, I the self is Purushottama. Purushottama means the most exalted Purusha, most exalted person, most exalted self. In this verse, Lord Krishna tells us how to meditate upon who am I? This body, perishable, I am not. The effect, I am not. The cause, I am not. I am the one that transcends both the effect and the cause. Is called Purushottama. Therefore, this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga because the subject matter here is self, who Lord Krishna says is Purushottama, is a limitless Purusha, the limitless person. Purusha also means limitless. And so here Lord Krishna reveals the fact that you and I are what? Purushottama. Not this helpless little creature. We are not. All of that is because equating myself with this body-mind complex. That is all small and insignificant. But who am I? I am the self manifesting through that. Even though the bulb may be small, the electricity is vast. Even though the wave may be small, the water is all boundless. So also this personality may be small, what manifests through that, the self of the consciousness is limitless, is Purushottama. And What's the reward of this knowledge? Tells the next verse. Yo mamevam sammudhaha janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Yo mamevam asammudha again. Hey Arjuna, who is free from delusion, who is undeluded himself or herself, he comes to know the true nature of the self as Purushottama. So one who knows himself as Purushottama, as a limitless Purusha, as a limitless self. And how many limitlesses can be there? Only one. Meaning self that I am is the self that you are, I am the self of all. I am one without a second. I am non-dual, undivided, indivisible, limitless. One who knows the self in this manner. Swamiji, you are talking about all the time, I am limitless, I am limitless, I am limitless. Does it not make you proud? I am limitless. Everybody else is limited. I am Brahman. Everybody else is stupid. No, that's not the knowledge. That I is not confined to this body mind. The whole notion of I has changed. What is I? I is that which is all inclusive. I is always all inclusive, but by confining it in this pot, like the space is all inclusive, but by supposedly confining the pot, as though it becomes part space also, the I, the conscious, is all inclusive. But on account of identifying with this body, etc., I thought that I am a limited entity. When I become free from that identification, from the delusion, I see myself as the self of all. Meaning that you no more remain separate from me. Nothing remains separate from I. In I, everything is included. So knowing I know everything. So Sarvavid, the one who knows I, knows everything. One who worships I, worships everything. Therefore the wise person is the greatest devotee because he is totally devoted. Whatever he does for I, does for everyone. And concluding the last verse, Lord Krishna says, Iti guhyatamam shastram idamuktam maya nagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat Krutakrutyascha Bharata. Hey Anagha, O sinless Arjuna, who is undeluded himself, it in this manner, Kuhyatamam Shastram, the most secret, most profound teaching I have imparted to you. This is the most profound teaching. Teaching about the reality of myself. Because that is all I need to know. The beauty is that when I know myself, I know everything because I am the self of all. Just as by knowing one atom, you know all the atoms. Similarly also, we ask this question, when you are cooking rice in a big pot, to know the rice is cooked, what do you do? To determine whether the rice is cooked or not, what do? You take one grain. If that grain is cooked, all rice is cooked, is it not so? Or should I take every grain and then find out that it's cooked or not? Knowing one grain of rice, you have known all the grains of rice because they are all same. Knowing oneself, I have known everything because that's what? Because the self that I am is the self that you are. There is no separation between you and I. The sense and the notion of separatedness goes away. The notion of isolation goes away. Notion of being excluded goes away. And that's what creates the division and isolation, which is causing all the sadness. It all goes away. And the happiness, which is my true nature, becomes manifest. We don't have to create the happiness. It's always there. Just remove this veil of unhappiness. It becomes manifest. Not that it manifests someday. As I remove this veil, it keeps on becoming manifest. Guhyatamam Shastram. This is the most secret or most profound teaching. Etad buddha buddhiman syat. Knowing this, a person becomes buddhiman, a wise in the real sense. So this is called wisdom when we know. So knowing this, we have known everything. And therefore a person becomes wise in the true sense of the word. Krutakrutyasya bharata. And by this knowledge or wisdom, you become krutakritya. You gain total fulfillment, a total satisfaction in the life. Satisfaction of having done whatever was needed to be done. Having attained whatever was needed to be attained. Having known whatever was needed to be known. You know whatever needs to be known. You attain whatever needs to be attained. You see whatever is, you do whatever is, you have done whatever needs to be done. This is a description of a complete satisfaction, fulfillment or freedom in life. That's called moksha, and that is the true success in life. And understand that this is a success that we are searching for. This is a success that we want, whether we know it or not, or whether we like it or not. Not only that, but until this success is attained, we are not going to stop. If that is not done in this lifespan, we will have to continue next. Not next, yet next. Vedanta teaches that our life is not confined to one lifespan, there is a continuity of life. This is not the first birth that I have had. This is not the first time that I have started the spiritual journey. I have been a pilgrim for a long time, and this is one station in my spiritual journey, and I am proceeding. If I do not complete the journey, no problem. I'll start from where I am stopping. But I cannot stop until the goal is reached. I have no choice. Stop not until the goal is reached. You cannot stop. That's our mind, that it wants this. Until you gain that success, a total fulfillment, not going to be satisfied, not going to stop. If it's not done in this lifetime, next lifetime. Thank you, Swamiji. We'll do it in next lifetime. Don't say that. Because if you say that now, next time also you'll see the same thing. So recognize that it is not that this goal is meant for some chosen people. For somebody else, it is meant for each one of us. That this is the desire with which you are born. This fulfillment is the desire behind every desire. We may not pay attention to what it is that we are desiring, and we think that I just desire a small little thing now and I'll be happy. And it is not going to happen. A desire will never be fulfilled unless the desire behind all desires is fulfilled. And Lord Krishna explains that if I leave this body with a desire, well, that determines where I am born again. I start again. The only way that the birth will not be necessary is if all my desires are fulfilled, and that can happen when the desire behind all desires is fulfilled. That Lord Krishna is Krutakritya, one whose all desires are fulfilled because he has attained that which is the object of desire behind all the desires. And that is our own self, not something else. And attaining is knowing the self because I am already attained. Therefore Lord Krishna says, one who has this knowledge becomes the wise in the true sense of the word. And in itself he becomes totally fulfilled. So that's why this is called the most profound teaching. You call it secret teaching or profound teaching. There can be nothing more profound than this, nothing more profound than ourselves. And there can be no more profound a goal than this or pursuit than this. Understand that knowledge is the simplest thing because it is knowledge of what is. It may look difficult only because Maybe we have not prepared our mind, therefore the preparation also is required. So while we are pursuing this knowledge, while we are listening to the classes and studying Vedanta, understand that we constantly have to strive also to undelude ourselves by having the right values and attitudes in our life. That means we have to grow. And there is no shortcut as far as growth is concerned. Don't remain in some kind of delusion, some experience will happen, I'll bliss out, and some waiting for something to happen. That is not going to do anything. Because every natural phenomenon takes its own time, and then only there is beauty, otherwise there is no beauty. A fruit must take its own time to ripen, then only it is sweet. Otherwise, if you artificially ripen, it doesn't work. There is no shortcut in ripening a fruit. There is no shortcut in rising the sun. It doesn't rise like that. It takes its own time. Then only it's beautiful. Every natural phenomenon takes its own time, where human being is not involved. Then only there is beauty in blossoming of a flower. Then there is no beauty. And similarly also we have to blossom. That's what it is. Like a mango fruit, we have to ripen. When the fruit is raw, then it is green and it is hard and it is sour and doesn't have much flavor. And we subject that mango to the process of ripening. We don't inject sweetness in there. No need, because it's there. When the mango becomes ripe, it becomes also soft, becomes tender, it becomes orange, or it becomes nice color, flavor, fragrance, sweetness. Nobody has to supply them. It's all there. It's the attainment of what is already attained. We just have to provide the right atmosphere for it to ripen. So also everything is there within ourselves. All that humility, all that compassion, everything is right there, here. We just have to give it an opportunity to manifest. But that we have to do. Thus then our personality ripens, becomes beautiful, fragrant, sweet, delicious. That's our nature, and we have to bring that to manifestation. And we have to do that. Not somebody else can do that. Not somebody can put something on my hand or put, that's all. You can wait for that also. That you take some feather and, some kind of. That Lord Krishna could have done to Arjuna. He didn't do that. So we always want some shortcuts and we want something to happen to us and, God bless you, that may happen to you, but then, as I said, we cannot wait for that kind of a thing. We have to take the initiative, initiate this process of self-undiluting, self-ripening, bringing to manifestation our true self. We happen to be, kind, loving, beautiful people, that's what we are. Everything else is superficial, everything else is incidental. Not our nature. But to bring that to manifestation and fruition, we have to make the right effort. That's what Vedanta teaches. It's the simplest thing really, and very practical thing. Somehow Swami is very complicated, difficult Vedanta. Nothing is difficult in what we spoke in form. Nothing is difficult. Swami, you please tell us more profound stuff. This is the most profound stuff. You think if I use a technical word, then I'm talking about profound things? That's not so. Just because we talk in simple terms doesn't mean that the knowledge is not profound. No, Swamiji, take us into depth. What depth? You are the depth. What depth you want to go to? All these notions about some profundity and stuff like that, so I can make it very heavy and something that you all use bombastic words and something that go over, Swami is talking something great because I did not understand. That's nonsense. That's what people tell me, Swami, that is a great Swami, he really says something. But he went ahead, went above and below and such. If that's the treatment that you want, that also we can give you, but that's all waste of time. Don't think that what is simple is not profound. Our Swami used to say that I am simple. But that doesn't mean I am not profound. Profundity is always in simplicity. The test of any profoundness is in what simple terms you can express your knowledge. A great scientist also only if he talks in a language that we can understand, then only we know that he really understands what he's talking about. If you cannot understand what a person talks about, we question whether he understands or not. Well, we need not judge anybody else, but that is not the test of profoundness of the thing. Don't delude yourself that we are listening to something simple and we'll wait for something profound to come. That simplicity is a test of profundity. Simplicity and clarity is what we need, nothing else. We keep listening to one text after the other. We need that because we need some variety. That's fine. Not that you are listening to something else. The one Upanishad says one thing, other says something else. It's not so. I told you yesterday, our Swami, today I am telling you Tattvamasi. At the end of the course also, that's all I am going to tell you. Hopefully that will mean different to you now and then when it means now. Because hopefully we change as we listen, and therefore same sentence makes more and more sense to us. So Lord Krishna has spoken in very simple words, and still he calls it what? Guhyatamam Shastram, the most profound knowledge. Not that the language of these verses is not understandable, is a very complicated Sanskrit or something grammatically difficult. Lord Krishna not used any technical words here or and still calls it most profound knowledge. So understand that simplicity doesn't mean absence of profoundness. In fact, profoundness is there in simplicity, in clarity. And so that's what Vedanta gives us. And Lord Krishna in a way blesses us also. In his Bhashya, Shankaracharya says, when he explains this verse, that hey Arjuna, you listen to this from me. That means that you are marked for gaining this knowledge. Because that is a matter of great fortune that he was the recipient of this knowledge. And we are all very fortunate that we are recipient of this knowledge. The fact that we are listening, that shows something is happening in our life anyway. Something is happening. That's what Bada Swami says, something is happening. Otherwise, it cannot be that we have the opportunity to listen to this. But something is happening with everybody. And we pray to the Lord that it continues to happen. That everybody continues to move in the journey and ultimately we reach our ultimate goal. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.